We are going to go over some Eagles props and some Kansas City props today for Super Bowl 59. Roll credits. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Philly Sports Now, a Philly fan podcast. My name is Zach. With me is Andrew, and we're back to talk all things Philly sports now that it is Super Bowl week. Media Day happened yesterday in New Orleans. Media Week has started, whatever the week is called, whatever. It's here. It's going to be the longest week. I thought last week was the longest week. I think this week might be the longest week. It's aggravating going through the workday and just trying to get through. I'm wearing a different jersey every day this week. I'm repping McNabb today. Super Bowl 39 represent. Um, I'm gonna try and wear a Super Bowl 52 represent tomorrow. But happy to have Andrew. As I said at the top, we are going to be talking some props today. Just kind of our interest in this game, going through some stats. Andrew's a big numbers junkie guy. He knows it all. And I already put together a 10 leg parlay that I put in. I'll go over with you guys why I think it's going to win, and we'll have some fun. Andrew, are you like anything crazy going into this game?
Like you said, I love numbers. I love diving into a lot of the fun, and I think there's many different things obviously to look at here, both from a standpoint of some fun stuff we'll get into, and then obviously the most important of the regular stuff. But I mean, and here's the thing, I don't want to get too much out of the way in terms of like giving away our preseason our Super Bowl picks, obviously, because you can check that out in our preview episode. But I mean, I think the way the line has swung a little bit here throughout the last 2 weeks is always intriguing to me. And I mean, we can just start with the basic of that, and how that's fluctuated here over the last few weeks. I mean, it started off, I'm pretty sure Chiefs were at 1.5 favorites here, and then I mean, it continues to go back and forth. Where I saw the Eagles at one point, it was basically a pick 'em. Now it's back to the Chiefs 1.5. So I think that's kind of a telling factor there. And the over under. I mean, I think we talked about this probably off on the phone the one time. But I mean, the over under at only 48.5. I mean, that just seems like the easiest over that you could possibly find.
Yeah, I mean, both these teams high scoring. I have here, look, it is a rematch. So I have one of my internet tabs up right now is Super Bowl 57, which was 38 to 35, pretty similar run teams, except for the Eagles have a much better defense. Do I think it's going to be a little lower scoring than 38 to 35? Probably. However, I still think easily both teams hit 25. I think that over is crazy low. And yeah, definitely jumped on that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think going off that is you're going to get a lot of quarter. I mean, obviously. I mean, obviously Mahomes is easy to say that in that spot, but I think Hurts is going to have a big game. So I like his over on the passing touchdowns. I think you're going to see him go out and just throw the ball a lot this game. I think obviously the Chiefs are going to try to slow down the run game early, so I think this is going to be huge on Hurts early on in the game, and I think that's where you'll see a lot of his points. Similar to what you saw in the regular season early on was, when Hurts was playing well, and then you saw a lot of run stuff in the second half. I think that's where you're going to see a little bit here in this game. So I think that the Hurts passing there of 2 touchdowns, I think is a good play as well.
Is that at 1.5 or two?
I had the prop I saw. Let me see what his actual over under is, but I saw the prop two plus touchdowns at plus 164.
Oh, see, I
That's
actually
the
have over 1.5 at plus 176. I
so
see.
that
I
so
don't know.
yeah, the over
I
one and a
find
half.
this tough to because I'll give you my two touchdown props that I. It's the easiest props in the world, but it's Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown score and Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown score. I mean, they're both minus minus for a reason, but when you're making a 10 leg parlay, those are the perfect choices. It's a matter of which receivers will also get touchdowns. You know what I mean? Like that is truly the question mark on the Eagles offensive side. Now, Do we think the Eagles get four touchdowns, including a Hurts rushing and a Barkley rushing touchdown?
Yeah, I think so. I, I think I think to win this game, either team, you're gonna have to hit the 30 mark. And I think that obviously if you're hitting 30, you're at least getting a few field goals and you get the four touchdowns. I think it's gonna be on the Eagles side, it'd be Hurts, Barkley. I think AJ Brown's gonna go off yardage wise, but I think Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert will be the receiving touchdowns.
Oh, there you go. I'll go right into that. So I've been giving you pieces of my parlay, of course, and the first of which I'll just recap it here. I of course am going to throw the Eagles money line, right? Look, let's be honest. When we give you our picks, I don't think that's going to be a shocker. But the picks will probably be in our no, not probably. The picks will be in our Friday podcast, so you can listen to it on Super Bowl Sunday. With your cup of coffee, with some donuts in the morning, getting ready for your day. However, yeah. So let's start off Eagles money line. We already said the over 48 and a half. I mean, that's just crazy easy in my opinion. And then I gave you my touchdown scores. I got Barkley, I've got Jalen Hurts. And now you want to talk about receiving. I agree. I think Goddard is a key part right now in the offensive side when it comes to receptions. And I have him at over 51 and a half receiving yards. I'm not too sweating about that one. It's definitely one of my riskier ones because, with the Eagles receiving team, it fluctuates. They go back and forth. Brown just hasn't really been major game maker during the playoffs, but I agree he's a touchdown scorer. And I believe that is what you said as well regarding Goddard's reception and participation.
I think the way this playoff for the Eagles has been weird too. Like there's been no give me like anything. Like it's obviously we talked about AJ Brown not having the stats we're used to him seeing that started off. Goddard obviously finishing the regular season hurt before he finally got going coming in the playoffs. So I think that's where it becomes a little tricky with the Eagles. Is there's just so many different pieces here that can get the job done. There's so many different aspects to it, and I think yeah, you see it. I mean, Dallas Goddard has done well, so I agree with you there.
And I'll use this to kind of lean into it. Like looking at Super Bowl 57, let's look at our top three receivers, right? Devontae Smith, 100 yards. A.J. Brown, 96 yards. Dallas Goedert, 60 yards. All three getting huge yardage. But the key difference is, of course, the key difference to this entire year. Saquon Barkley not being on this team. The entire rushing yards for the Philadelphia Eagles in Super Bowl 57 was 115 yards, with Hurts number one at 70 yards. And like when you see that, that's the problem. And so now you're going to see Barkley added to that mix, who I do think gets over 100. And in fact, I take the reception yards for Saquon Barkley at over 110. And I think Barkley gets over 110 yards easy. Well, maybe not. Maybe easy is the wrong word. I think he gets him.
Easy.
And Hurts probably I would put Hurts. I gotta say I don't think I take Hurts's rushing uh his rushing prop. I'm trying to pull it up right now real quick because again I passed on it, but I wanted to see what it was while I say this, and that's Hurts
36
at
and a half.
36 and a half. I think he is closer to the 20 to 30 range. I think he rushes quite a bit, but I just when you have Barkley being a major factor in this, I think you see less receptions and you're going to see the quarterback run less.
I I'm gonna disagree with you on that one. I think
That's
I
fine.
think Hurts over. I think the way we've seen it, especially late in that game, or not late, sorry, especially in the game against Washington, they started doing the read option again. His leg looks better. I think they're gonna try to, especially in the second half, and especially if the Eagles can jump out to a lead, I think they're going to look to mix in different run styles between Hurts, between Barkley. So I think Hurts hits the 40 mark in this game.
Well, I mean that's not super high, especially again. I'm going to keep comparing to Super Bowl 57 because that's I think a major thing in this right is how do we change over the time of this past 3 years? How do you compare
Yeah.
to that team? And him running for 40 yards as opposed to the 70 is still huge because it shows how your weapons have changed and it shows how much more trust he has in the team. 40 yards is still a lot for the quarterback to run, but it's also not unheard of this year, this age of the NFL when you have Mahomes running for up to 40 yards, when you have Lamar Jackson running as much as a running back. Like it's just 40 yards for Hurts is actually low, is what I'm trying to get at, even though it is the over in this game.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I see what you're saying there too. I think they're gonna purposely put in packages for him, and then he always gets the scrambling yards. So I think that's where the key difference is here for Hurts
Now,
in terms of that one.
I will go into. So I think Goddard, like I said, is kind of on my trickier end of my parlay, but uh, I have two parts of the parlay that are very specifically. These are my risks, I think. I'm gonna get one out of the way that isn't one of those two before I go into the two risks. Uh, Jalen Carter sack anytime. Like I that man is a beast. He's been great. I think he's gonna flatten Patrick Mahomes. I don't even have a doubt about it.
Yeah, no question. He's gonna rush it. He's gonna get through their line. I truly believe that. Now the question is, does he move Mahomes into somebody else? That's gonna be the toughest part about your play there. Is just because of his position on the field, he sometimes doesn't get that sack because he moves Mahomes to a different part of that line, and then somebody else steals it. Let's just say steals it for this case. But
Yeah.
that's gonna be the biggest question on Carter. I love the pick. I think it's fully worth it. Again, he's gonna get through the line. He's gonna get stop a lot of run plays as well. And again, it's gonna come down to can he get there first before Mahomes gets away to somebody else.
Isn't that another like don't can't they get half a sack when it's like shared
Yes.
too? So that's
Oh
like
yeah.
that I don't think
If
counts in that situation.
no,
And
you
so
need two half a sacks there to get your one
that's
sack.
crazy. But I could totally see that. I also, not to throw fire to a conspiracy theory, but I could also see him getting the sack, right? And then the refs call it back. Maybe there's a roughing the passer call that's complete bullshit or something. I don't know. But I think it is it's not a given, but I think he's gonna get it so easy. I had to go with it. I had to go with the one
No,
defensive
yeah, it's a great
Jalen
pick.
Carter sack. Um all right, so my two risk parts for the Eagles. I have two of them. And let me confirm. Oh my gosh, it keeps closing when I start talking, and I'm like, oh, actually, only one of them is an Eagles pick, so I have two Chiefs pick on the parlay. Uh, the risk on the Eagles side, Jahan Dotson getting over 3.5 yards. He just needs a reception. He just
Yeah,
needs
right.
to catch the ball.
That's all it takes.
That's it.
You saw it in the what was that? The Rams game when he had the one catch, touchdown, 12 yards.
That's what it's really. I think, and the reason I like seriously, the reason I'll take this is I, I don't think any stone is left unturned in this game. I think Hurts, Sirianni, Kellen Moore. I think there are schemes among schemes. I think there's plans. I think Hurts is going to utilize everyone. He is not the same quarterback he was 3 years ago. He's not going to just panic and run. He's going to take the 2 to 3 seconds he has and make a proper decision. And I think Dotson gets the ball at some point. That's just all it is. He just gets it once and gets 4 yards. And I think it's worth play. But we'll
See, even if
see.
he gets they ran it to Smith a few times, but even if he gets the little end around where the receiver comes around and goes in front of the quarterback and the quarterback does a little toss forward, that counts as a reception. And they did it a few times with Devontae Smith last game. I wouldn't be surprised. They're gonna, like you said, they're gonna throw. I mean, this is the last game of the year, right? They're gonna throw everything out
Right.
that's not on tape. They're gonna, like this is it. So I think they're gonna try one of those to Dotson with Dotson's speed. I think you'll see Smith get the first one and then just try to mix it up. I think that's where you're gonna get that pick. Honestly, is they're gonna try one of those plays where he goes in front and Hurts does the quick toss up to him, and it looks like a run play, but since it goes forward, It's statted as a pass or
See,
reception.
these details is why Andrew is what he brings to the show. This is why he's here. Because look, I'm like, yeah, he's gonna get the, and Andrew's like, no, 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 this is the play-by-play for what's about to happen. But if I had to give my opinion, I could see Dotson getting the ball on a like trick play to Barkley where he throws it to Dotson. I could again some zany level of crap. But anyway. The last two picks I have here, and then we'll get rid of my parlay and move on to just general finishing up and going through other props that Andrew might have. Is Xavier Worthy over 50 yards? I mean he is their number one receiver. Uh, I Juju Smith Schuster, excuse me. Also very good, but Xavier Worthy to get 50 yards just feels like a given. Like that feels like nothing. So I threw that in there as a kind of a boost to the parlay. And then the I think this is the trickiest one, but a little shout to the brain here, but I like his play on this. And that's Patrick Mahomes under 30 rushing yards, 20 under 29 and a half rushing yards. And I love it. He's not running as much this playoff season. He did a lot against the Bills game. He had 43 yards in the Bills game. But like against Houston, he only had shoot, I had it right here, 14 yards. 14 yards. And quite frankly, I think the Eagles' defensive line is better against the run than either of these teams. So I think this is a great little under to slip into the parlay.
No, I love that play. I think you get another pass rusher back in Brandon Graham, a veteran. Well, sorry, we don't know for sure. He's activated.
We'll
He
have it
hasn't been
tomorrow.
official. He hasn't officially been ruled as he's playing, but he has been activated from the IR, so he is eligible to play, I should say. So he's on the path to playing. The way we contained Jaden Daniels. I know he ran for that one touchdown, but there's a few broken tackles there, and he goes for 48 yards. And obviously, Daniels is a better runner than Mahomes. Better runner. I want to emphasize that. They say better quarterback. Um, but I think the key here and is the Eagles linebacker play that they've had this year, and they've been able to contain people. And Zach Bond, even Burke steps up big time when the Kobe Dean goes down again. Like I said, you're hopeful they get Graham back, and I think you're going to contain him very well. So I like that play. I think the Eagles pass rush has been huge, and the biggest thing for you there is going to be again when when the defensive line gets through, is it's going to be all come down to containing Mahomes because he does have that scramble ability. So if he scrambles and gets away for a first down or two, that's where it could be a big difference there.
That's
So
why he
it's
really just needs to break through one big rush
yes.
where he gets 15, 20 yards by accident, and it's like then the whole thing's out the window. Because he's going to get another handful of yards here and there. But as long as they retain him and keep him from getting a major breakthrough, then it shouldn't be a problem. And you just got to trust this team. And if you think the Eagles are truly going to win, that's what like you can't let that happen.
No, exactly. And that's yeah, if Mahomes runs for let's just say 50 yards in this game, it could be a tough result for the Eagles, to your point. Like, yes, that's gotta be one of the big things here.
And this goes without saying. We talked about the Eagles money line at the top, but this is a pro Eagles prop show for sure. We are under the assumption the Eagles are going to win, and it's the question. The things this show is applying is essentially how are the Eagles going to win? What causes the Eagles to win? And I think things like keeping Mahomes under 30 rushing yards. I think things like Goddard getting over 50 receiving yards. Barkley demolishing the all-time playoff and in-season record of rushing yards. Like it's just these are the things that will contribute to an Eagles Super Bowl victory yet again. Uh another prop I wanted to talk about. We're done with my parlay. I can recap it at the end just so it's out there for the listener. But another prop I wanted to talk about. I was curious on Andrew your take. I didn't love it. Jake Elliott over 6.5 points.
Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, Zach, I think if the Eagles are going to win this game, he's got to get over 6.5. I mean, you think about it. You mentioned the four touchdowns. I mean, assuming he makes all these extra points, that's four right there, and then I think he gets at least one field goal in this game, so that's seven. And then you're looking at 31 points, like I said earlier. And if he doesn't get that, and you're shortened to two field goals and a touchdown, that's seven right there as well, right? So I think that's a good Eagles play right there. It is the 6.5 because again, I think the recipe is out there. Even if the Eagles offense struggles and the Chiefs hold them to field goals, I mean, think about it. That's two field goals and a touchdown, and that's seven right there. So I'm surprised to honestly see it that low.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's
And
true.
I guess
Again, as I've done before, Super Bowl 57, he had 9 points, and I'll just go to the.
if you go back to last game, he had seven actually because he went 0 for 1 from the field goal, and the Eagles scored enough touchdowns where he was 7 for 7 extra point wise. So he got that just on the touchdowns alone, put up the 55 points.
So there you go. So, like, I mean, so it's a good play. I should have put it in my parlay. Um,
It might not hurt you to have one play not in there.
let's see. This is the one. This is the one that's gonna hit. All right. I know Andrew also had some fun props he wanted to talk about, so let's get into that. I've officially gone through all of the specific ones I wanted to discuss. Uh, yeah, let's go. Andrew, what are your what props you got in
Real
mind
quick
there,
before
dude?
real quick before I get into the fun ones,
Hmm.
going off your rushing yard ones, what do you think? Let's go to the quarterbacks real quick. Passing yards. We talked a lot about the rushing, but Hurts at 211 yeah, 211 and a half seems a little low. Like I said, I'm kind of expecting a good passing game from him, especially after what we saw last week and all the talk on Hurts can't win the big one with his arm. And then Mahomes at 250 and a half. That's like such a good number in my head. Like I don't know which way that one. I mean, just the way he is and I mean, obviously you talked about Xavier Worthy and the weapons he has, Travis Kelce, obviously. So like that 250 is almost I know now, I've been showing a lot of other ones, but that 250 is a pretty solid number, I feel like, for Mahomes.
So I'm gonna say the thing that is not great, but I think if he hits that, they win. That's it. Like, so I, let's look at stats. This postseason, Mahomes has yet to hit 250. Against Houston, he had 177, and against Buffalo, he had 245. So he almost had it, but he didn't. Now, Super Bowl 57, Mahomes only had 180, and that was with a win. So I actually don't love it, but specifically because I think if he gets 250, they're gonna win.
That's funny because, and you kind of helped my point in a way. I
Sure,
was going to say the opposite, actually. Like, because I think they know how to win and they know how to manage each part of that. I say if you're going to look at this play, you go the opposite of who you think wins the game. If you think the Eagles are going to win the game, I like the over on that because I think they're playing catch up. Whether it's a touchdown or whether it's 14 points,
sure.
they're going to be passing, passing, passing. So I think that's where he's going to reach it. Where if the Chiefs are winning and similar as you just mentioned, him not getting that mark yet and all wins, I think they're be more managing the clock, maybe more short yardage, dumpage pass just to get first downs where he doesn't get to that mark. So I'm gonna swing the other way. I think you go based off of who you think wins this game is the way you play that Mahomes number.
Yeah, I guess you're right. The stats have that in favor that he hasn't hit that mark with his wins in these three games that I'm looking at right now. So yeah, I guess you're right. I'm misreading the stats. I'm misreading the numbers. That's why he's the numbers guy, folks. That's a yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And that's what we want, right? Like you hope that the Eagles offense is, firing so perfectly that the Eagles defense is stopping so well that Mahomes is scrambling to make moves. And I'll just throw another number out here that supports Andrew's choice here. Jalen Hurts with 300 passing yards in Super Bowl 57.
Yeah, fortunately, we know how that one went.
Exactly. But that's my point. Like, if he's getting that many yards, again, the numbers are saying that's a loss. So, That's an interesting stat. That's another good one. I don't know. Jalen Hurts 211. I just don't I
That's
don't know
another
because
great number based off our run game. Like,
but like it's completely dependent on the run game. I mean, even last week with well, I mean even the championship, he had 246 yards passing with Barkley having 118 rushing yards. So like it's crazy that's how many yards just those two got. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like obviously reception to go into the receiving team as well, but like it's I have no idea. Jalen Hurts there's a reason this isn't in my parlay because the Jalen Hurts passing game is it's gonna completely depend on what's working. And Barkley can make moves, right? He's gonna get I think it's crazy not to think 100 yards, but let's say 80 yards. Like Barkley gets 80 yards just being an option, right? A good game he's going to get 110 yards, but just being an option he's going to get like 80 rushing yards. Jalen Hurts, I would say is going to get 200 passing yards, but does he get 211? Like if Barkley's working, if Hurts' legs are working, when does he lean on the passing team? Yeah, passing game. Yeah, I don't. It's an interesting one. I think it's more than likely to hit. If I had to give a percentage to it, I think
yeah.
there's a 66% chance it hits. But
I think it's
I,
around the two. I think it's around like 230 in this one.
yeah. So you think it's gonna crush?
I I mean, I just said it like with his passing too. Like I think
Yeah,
it's a good Hurts game here, and they feed off the run game just like usual.
yeah. Well,
It's getting some fun ones off. Not the basic, player props here. Yeah, I was trying to find some fun ones. Obviously, you get the traditional over under 121 seconds for the national anthem.
which which I follow. I'm gonna Dr. Lock on Instagram. I do not have any bet in for this yet, but he pointed out the person doing the national anthem has like a piano like what is that called? Like not performance, but like a piano melody ready to go for the
Yeah,
anthem.
I,
Like I
I
think it's
saw that too.
way more likely than not. They're calling it a lock, these guys, that it's gonna be like a 3 minute anthem.
Oh, good. Just what we need more anticipation and drawn out before the game.
But yeah, I mean
Well,
I love it. I definitely take the
I
over on
take the
that.
over. I take
Yeah,
the over too.
absolutely. Andrew, are you a tails never fails guy?
I'm a heads guy.
You are. Of course you are.
That's on here too. And actually, this article, it's on Bleacher Nation, but they actually had stats for it. Tails has won 30 times. Heads has won 28 times in Super Bowl history. Tails has hit 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. And the last team to win the coin toss and win the game was the Seahawks in Super Bowl 48. How about that? The
I,
last team to win the coin toss and the game, Super Bowl 48.
wow, was 11 years ago.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
weird
crazy.
stat. I hate that because then you like immediately you're like, oh, the Eagles won the coin toss, we lost. Like you know what I mean? Like one of those crazy things where it's like, oh, it's over, it's gone. Um, that's funny though because that also sounds like heads is due. You just said it's 30 something and 28,
Yep.
right?
Third, Tails has won 30 times, Heads has won 28, but Tails has won 5 of the last 6.
Yeah, but that just I'm going heads. I'm going heads here
See?
because heads is due. Dude, statistics never fails. It's a 50-50 chance. And if Tails has done it 5 years in a row, heads is gonna happen. It's just how that works. I don't know. Some professor get in the comments and tell me why I'm wrong. Thank you for listening, everyone.
Right? Here's one I have never seen before. Which brand is the first commercial shown?
Ooh, that's
And this,
interesting. Wait,
according to this article, Doritos plus 250, a Super Bowl staple. Bud Light plus 300, longtime major advertiser.
yep.
Pepsi plus 350, sponsor of past halftime shows. DraftKings slash FanDuel plus 400, growing presence of sports betting, obviously, and Apple plus 600, surprise appearance possible.
So here's my question though. When are we counting commercials? Like, so once the anthem is over and they're
That is
setting
true.
up, does that start Super Bowl commercials?
That is true.
I
Let's see if
think
it says. No, it
I
doesn't really
think
say what's. I would say
it's
after kickoff is my guess.
I I'm going Budweiser. I think but Pepsi's the like
I was
I
thinking
don't think
Pepsi
it's
because they get
Doritos.
that.
Doritos is you said it. Doritos is always in the Super Bowl commercials. I saw their freaking Patrick Mahomes is in the Doritos build-up commercial, or is it Taco Bell? One or the other. Um, Doritos is going to be in the Super Bowl commercial, but I think it's either Pepsi or Budweiser. Or I'm going Bud Light. I saw Bud got Shane Gillis for the Super Bowl commercial. I think they're going to come out of the
Okay.
gate with that.
Okay. I'm gonna go Pepsi. I think they throw the halftime show out quick, get everybody ready for that. And I'll take. I don't know if it's the easy way there, but I'll take the easy way.
Yeah, yeah,
All right, a few more here, just for fun.
yeah.
Number of beers sold.
Ooh, do
This,
we have any stats? Do I have
yeah.
anything to
Well,
go off
let
of
me
here?
let me read. The over under it says is 120,000.
20,000. All right, well, let's pull up New Orleans.
Its capacity 76,468 seats. So it doesn't say what standing room. But that's
Say that
seats.
again. 76,000 seats.
76,468 seats.
All right, so I
So
think standing room is usually like 10,000, give or take.
I think I'm gonna go over
So what was it? 120,000?
120,000.
120,000.
Obviously, out of that 76, obviously everybody's
I mean, if you average that out to two beers each, that's over
it shatters it.
140,000. And
But you also gotta remember, obviously everybody's not 21, and then obviously everybody
yeah,
doesn't.
but what you're not thinking of is for every child at the Super Bowl,
Yeah,
there's an
no, yeah, don't
absolute
yeah,
degenerate getting
yeah.
blackout drunk as well
No,
off
I
eight
agree.
beers.
No,
So
I agree with you.
I think for every person not drinking at the Super Bowl, someone's drinking three times as much. Yeah, I'm
Right?
going over 120,000. This is the clip, by the way. When I go to make a prop clip, this is gonna be it.
That that's pretty funny. Here's another funny one. Who will the Super Bowl MVP of the game, which that's how we'll end with who we think is gonna be the Super Bowl MVP.
Okay.
But who will the Super Bowl MVP of the game thank first?
Oh, I saw
Teammates,
that.
coaches, family, God, the owner doesn't thank anybody. That's funny.
So see, this is tough because that
So teammates plus 150,
uh-huh.
God plus 200, family plus 300, coaches plus 500, the fans plus 750. I don't think the fans. I think the fans is not. I don't think they thank the fans first.
I I think no, fans are out. Like I love them. I am them, but no, you don't thank the fans first. Maybe
I'll
if
say
like
it kind of depends on the player for me, to be honest. I know,
it definitely
like
depends on the player. I was waiting to say
hypothetically,
that.
let's say Barkley. Barkley, I could see being the owner or a coach just because they brought him here. So I could see him saying thanks for the organization bringing me here, something like that.
I think Barkley is a family man. Family or God, actually. I'm pretty sure he's a big God praiser on Twitter. Um,
Yeah,
I think Barkley praises family first. Um, I think Hurts says coaches. Um,
I think
this
Hurts is God.
this is tough. This is tough because this is it, right? Assuming the Eagles win the Super Bowl, is the MVP Hurts or is it Barkley? Honestly, I think Hurts is Super Bowl MVP, but I think Barkley gets it. I think Barkley, should have been the NFL 2024 MVP. And if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, he gets that credit as the Super Bowl MVP. So I mean, I'm going to answer your question. I think that it's family, and I think the MVP is Saquon Barkley.
I'll agree with the player, but I'm gonna take coaches slash organization slash owner, whichever category you want to go with.
I love it.
Um,
Spicy. Let's heat it up. Let's heat
right?
it up.
No, I think that the MVP one was the way to end it.
Agreed. There we go. Thank you, everyone, for listening to Philly Sports Now, Philly fan podcast. You can find us on social media, links in the description. Thank you so much for listening. Follow on Spotify, give a 5-star review, please, and subscribe on YouTube if you haven't. All of it helps. Do any and all. And if you did, comment to let us know that you're subscribed or followed. Thank you once again. We will be releasing this episode Wednesday, February 5th. We will have a new episode Thursday, February 6th, and our picks will be finalized most likely Friday, February 7th. Thank you, everyone, for listening to Philly Sports Now. I'm Zach. That's Andrew. And as always, go Birds.
Go Birds!